as WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Yes, boy. Rap, rap. Beep. Huh. Some say they're rough, some say that they're crude, but their surface we all appreciate. People don't like some of them road attitude, and their more senseless behavior we can't take. But it's coming wrong them corner, letting off passenger, racing one another, chasing down the dollar. Reckless when they speeding, from the Benz they overtaking. Passengers just get frightened, they say one day the accident go happen. Hey, them man drivers, Lord afraid them man drivers, creating problem. Them man drivers, traffic jam, anxiety and mayhem. Them man drivers, make you cross. Them man drivers, driving dangerous. Them man drivers, causing stress, friction and chaos. Huh? Come on, you run the boy. What call you? Watch him again. Well, that conductors, boy, them easy. Taking up passengers when there is no space. Woman sit down in your lap. Yo, you must be crazy. Sometimes backing up the bottom all in your face. Oh, boy, look, they always overloading. Bus hot, people sweating. Man foot does the cramping. You get squeezed up. How you sitting? No sense in complaining for so rude and insulting. A lady says she get bad feeling. By the way, some conductors does me.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
The time is now 7:45 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and welcome back to the listeners of Activated Mornings this morning. In case you're wondering what the topic is, exactly what Lord Have Mercy was just singing about, them van drivers. So last week, Searchlight newspaper released a story captioned, "Insurer Suspends insurance for Uptown drivers to appear in court." Following a series of traffic offenses and dangerous maneuvers, the passenger van Uptown has been given a 7-day notice of the cancellation of insurance from Metrocent General Insurance, the largest insurer of public transportation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Corporal John, who is attached to the traffic department of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, told Searchlight on February 19, 2024, that the two most recent cases of reckless driving caught on camera involving the van were just a few compared to what the police have on record. Numerous is the best word to use, said Corporal John, as he tried to give an estimate of the number of traffic offenses involving the passenger van, which plies the Villa Calico Kingstown route. In paraphrasing the letter given by the insurance company, John said, based on the evaluation of the recent events of reckless and dangerous maneuvers, they are proceeding with the termination of insurance coverage. The traffic cop also said that the driver, who was behind the wheel of the vehicle when it was involved in another incident caught on camera earlier this year, had his license suspended. And in the incident of Friday, February 16, 2024, the owner of the vehicle was suspended from driving. He was operating the vehicle at the time of this most recent incident, in which the van was caught on video appearing to be overtaking another passenger van going uphill. Both drivers have been served with summons to appear in court. Mostly every week you see a video of this van. Any driver who is usually receives a ticket a day driving that van, John noted. To add to that article, one of the drivers of the van, they had an interview at a radio station yesterday, and what was said in the interview was actually quite interesting. The driver did, in a way, agree with what John said, that they receive a lot of tickets. There are different drivers of the van. When the incident happened, the owner, who usually doesn't drive the van, started driving the van, and he himself fell victim to a video going viral of him making a very close overtake. I think the area that happened was in Glen. Okay, let's take this call quickly. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I am well.
I call in your program again because I want to help the public to the truth. This is Mr. Hammy. I call the police more than any other citizen in the world. I call traffic. I call the commissioner's office. And let me make it clear, to get to the commissioner's office, the only person who would entertain me is Inspector Oliver. The commissioner won't speak to me. The deputy and most of the senior officers won't talk to me, because I know why. I ain't going to say why on radio, but they know literally shouldn't be that way. But I'm only saying I call the traffic. In fact, I spoke to the traffic person, Mr. King, when he came down the other day to speak about the situation with noise. And I want to say that the main problem we're having with the vans is the police. And I want to make it clear that we didn't have that kind of problem under the watch of Officer Komabash, a very wonderful officer that was very much organized. He was on the road. Officer, the van drivers respected him. In fact, they didn't even want to be part of violating the law and speeding and with playing these loud music, because they had a very good relationship with them, and they police them. We don't even have no policing. I live in Annisville, the very crossway, and you see police on mornings. They come out, some lady, like, if, well, this is a game, and they come out like 7 o'clock, and then by 9 o'clock they gone into, I don't know whether they're playing cards or what they're doing, but the drivers have been able to overcome the police because they literally know where they are, so they could break traffic, come up Uptown Hill, go through areas and so on, speed, play loud music. In fact, loud music go into the very community college. And I'm saying the public here in Annisville has been harassed by the vans with the police not able to do it. You know when that is really act? When that one day that support, that one day, that man there, we going to put the book at him. Because he don't support the ULP. This is how let me tell you something. There no game, I am only saying here, leave the van drivers alone. If they're going to continue to do the what they want, and it's going to be business as usual. They're going to play loud music. They're going to overtake. They're going to do as they like. And also the young boys of them do the same thing. And many of them are literally given a slap on the hand because they own the government. We need our police. We need to understand that the police are incompetent.
Are you hearing me?
Hello?
Hamo, are you hearing me? All right, so I think Ari was looking to get to a particular point by raising this discussion, right? So let's let Ari give the point, and then if you wish to contribute to that point, you can call back, okay?
God bless you, my sister. Have yourself a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Ari.
Yes, I already lost my train of thought, but the issue is, what the driver was saying basically lined up with what the police corporal is saying, that this specific van, and I've seen it, I'm on social media, I have seen a number of videos popping up with this van for doing another foolishness. And there's only so much that the traffic police can really do. Because when they're driving these back roads and they're finding clever ways to deceive the police, there's only so much they can do. And something was suggested that there's a uniform system for van drivers, and I really do think that we need to consider that going forward. As much as culture and tradition is good in terms of freedom of expression, they're able to express creativity through their graphics and their rims and the music that they have. They also need to be they also need to follow the law. You cannot have loud music at schools and other areas. You should not be driving recklessly, point blank, period. And a lot of these vans, they just don't adhere to simple traffic regulations. On numerous occasions, a van would stop in a corner and you behind the van waiting for instructions. You can't get instructions. The driver either talking with the conductor, talking with a passenger on his phone. You don't know if you can come around the corner. You brave the corner now by trying to come around. A vehicle is coming, and then they're more angry with you. after they're the ones at fault. There are a number of things that are going wrong with these vans, and I really do think that the insurer did make a good call here, and I really believe that if more insurers took these actions, that we'll have less of these incidents happening, because you could avoid the police. But how are you going to avoid insurance? You keep getting all these tickets. There's a video video footage of these vans doing the nonsense. How are you going to avoid the insurers? You're going to tell them it's not your van?
All right. So that latter part that you said, I am in agreement with, in terms of, it's an interesting move. I've never heard of it happening before. Maybe it's because of the van that's in question, or the subject of conversation. And I've never heard of an insurance publicly, or it coming out to the public, that they've taken away the insurance from a particular van. Now, what it leads me to wonder, and as the article did indicate, that MetroCent in particular is one of the largest insurers of vans. And I am wondering if this is a position that they've started to take, let's say with those problematic vans, or those vans that you see that are constantly getting into accidents and where they have to pay out, etc. Is this a step that they're going to be taking with regards to other vans? And then the implications of what could possibly help to change our van culture, because we do have a van culture here in SVG. Is this sort of going to be a deterrent for the way in which vans conduct themselves on the road, given that MetroCent has taken this particular step, or at least in this instance, it has come to our attention? So I think that is what was a key thing that I took away from the article. I am wondering what is going to happen. Is this going to be a reflection of them putting their foot down with regards to their policies, etc., with regards to vans? And would this have any sort of impact on the way vans conduct themselves on the road, knowing that the largest insurer of what we call them, public transportation, if they have taken such a move, would they start feeling need to buck up on themselves now and act the way in which they're supposed to on the roads of SVG?
And I really think that something should be put in place to separate the minibus drivers and the taxi drivers. Because
but you know, as you said that, then it's interesting because sometimes vans are also used as for hire, not public transportation, but for hire. So
yeah,
you know, when there's that crossover, then what happens there?
But I have not heard, or I have not seen of instances where those vans that are used for hire, that they drive in the way they drive in for the regular daily route for passengers. When they're hired and they have specific passengers on board, I don't see the same reckless driving. When some of these vans are contracted to take home workers or bring workers to work, you don't see the same driving. But in the everyday road, there are other drivers on the road, there's competition. They want to be doing a lot of nonsense on the road. And I really do think that when regulations are put in place in response to the nonsense they're doing on the road, a lot of the taxi drivers suffer as well. Because if it is that you're going to raise the age for the drivers, for the age permit, then what about those who wanted to get into the taxi business and who don't have these instances, who drive carefully because they're mindful of their passengers? What happened to them? They just grouped in and Peter pay for Paul and Paul paying for all. And I don't think it's fair to the taxi drivers.
But you know, Ari, as we're talking all of this, do you think that the majority of van drivers drive recklessly? I
think that van drivers in specific routes are the main culprits. Okay. From Kingston to Camden Park, Kingston and Bagger, the Bagger vans for sure. Not all Layu vans, are maybe like one or two from Layu. But Bagger, Camden Park on the Leeward side, on the Windward side, Villa Calaqua, Villa Calaqua, Georgetown. I can't think of Mespo vans and
But you realize it's really the hot vans. What we term as the hot vans, they're the ones who. But the thing of it is that when we have that label attached to the hot vans, I still think that they're in the minority, but it's just that they're the ones that come to the surface, that come to our attention within the media, and then all of the vans get labeled under one umbrella, which is unfortunate.
No, it's not just the hot fans driving foolishness and not adhering to traffic laws, because I've seen van drivers that not driving recklessly, still doing nonsense in terms of not indicating, not calling persons. But I think that van drivers, you're carrying passengers, you have an additional responsibility because you have, 15, 16 lives in your hands in this vehicle. You shouldn't be the same as me in my vehicle by myself or with another person, or let's say 5 of us in a vehicle. You should be more conscious about what is happening on the road, and it happens way too frequent. I've been in one motor vehicle accident in my entire life, and it's because a van driver bad drove me. And I'm pretty sure if we start a segment, man versus van man, you would hear every day persons having to deal with nonsense van drivers doing on the road. And you're not wrong in saying that is the hot vans. The hot vans are performers. They're performing
and
for
that's
the,
it.
for,
And
for
this
students.
is the thing, because we were talking about there being a Vinci van culture. Do we like it? Or is it based on the age range? Because
it's the age range for sure.
Because as adults, me, looking back at the things that I tolerated as a college student, I'd be saying, but Roleza, you was foolish. Why would you go in a van knowing that it's speeding, knowing the driving on the sidewalk, knowing that it overtaking, in incorrect places? I would say that no, as an adult, I could say it. But as a student, it was fun. It was fun because we never got into any serious accidents, but I think maybe, and this is why sometimes I always say that part of the problem goes back to society, which is us as well. Because how is it that you're able to get footage a lot of the times for some of these vans when they're doing their foolishness? You can't come and tell me that somebody is by the side of the road just, what is it? You hear the engine and you say, well, let me take out my phone and start to record.
Yeah. Listen.
You think it's that?
Listen, when you go into these schools, both male and female, these students are excited to say, oh, you see what Uptown do, you see what butt do, you see what Topper do, you see what they use when they burn tires and they scratch out, you see what happened in Massey parking lot, and they're excited by it.
So quickly.
So as soon as the van pull up, they already have the phones out hoping to catch something.
Well, I guess so. I guess that's it in truth. But I think part of it also goes back to us as a society. We wild them up. We love it. You're in the back of the van, man, take over, overtake, everybody wilding them up, and we're partially to contribute towards it.
Yeah, that's why I don't catch vans. I ain't believing that.
Man, listen, I actually don't have a problem catching van. Any day that I get to not drive, once my vehicle is working, please. I don't mind being a passenger, but of course I would only do so in safe vans.
I prefer to drive. I remember just last year I caught a van. As soon as I step into the van, the seat cut me. I know. I prefer to walk. And not me and them vans. But yeah, we do. I really do hope that more insurers get on board and they implement stricter penalties for a lot of these van drivers moving forward. The time is now 8:00, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,